The Sitar Swami is a modulation guitar pedal made by Danelectro, designed to emulate the sound of a sitar. The pedal is built in a die-cast sturdy plastic enclosure and has a rubberized bottom with an easy-access battery compartment. It is optionally 9-volt battery or 9-volt DC powered. It has buffered bypass, which was labeled virtual bypass back in 2002. This pedal looks like it was originally released in 2002 and looks like it was discontinued in 2004 based on Wayback Machine research. There are a few listings at the time of this recording, all varying in price, the lowest being a listing on Mercari for about $180. I also want to mention I did not pay anywhere near that price. Hello everyone, and today we're going to be talking about the Danelectro Sitar Swami. So, this pedal is certainly something interesting. I wanted to give something a little more interesting to the subscribers here. Let's get pretty much right into it. So, obviously, based on the name, this thing is supposed to be it's supposed to make your guitar sound like a sitar. It kinda does it, but not the greatest. Yet, it still makes its own unique tone, and it's really cool. So what this thing actually is it has what sounds like an octave up and down and is on top of a flanger. So yeah, you can imagine that sounds kind of strange. And you're probably like, well, stop talking about it and get to it. Well, let's talk about the controls real quick here. So there are only two controls, which will make it super easy to review because there's only so much to demonstrate, and only one of the knobs is necessary to demonstrate, which is our EQ here, because the level just does the volume. It's also made in this awesome die-cast enclosure. It's got all the style, and I miss the Danelectro stuff. Too bad they don't really make them the way they used to anymore. Anyway, so you're probably like, what does it sound like? Let's see what it sounds like. I bought this pedal as a reward to myself when I was working at the grocery store. This was one of the first big ticket items that I ever purchased, but I still purchased it for a decent price. I think I got it for around like $90 at the time of me purchasing it, but these things have gone up a little bit in price, I think. I don't know. There's also going to be a little bit of background noise on the amplifier. I think that's because of my new looper. I think there's some power filtering issues. I'm not quite sure, but that's my best guess. Either way, you probably won't even hear it, so let's finally turn on the amplifier and the pedal. So, we're using a drop D Stratocaster. I should probably tune. I don't have a freaking tuner, but luckily this thing has a tuner. I'll be doing a video about this looper pedal at some point because it's very useful. But if it has this power filtering issue, that might be an issue. Also, engaging and disengaging the tuner is a bit annoying because you have to actually reach down and press the buttons. So even though it's in drop D, we're not going to be doing a whole lot of drop D playing, doing the bar power chords, because this pedal gets very muddy very easily. So we have the volume set to where it needs to be, and we have the EQ set directly to noon. So let's play a little bit on the clean tone. I should also turn off the reverb. I missed the reverb already, but you know, oh well, we're gonna just deal with it. So here is with the Swami on. So it's a very interesting tone, and you can hear, even now, a very little bit when if you swipe your strings, you can hear that flanger phaser maybe going through it. It's such an interesting effect. So yeah, where people say I don't play enough, so I'm gonna try and dink around, and remember I'm not a soloist, so this probably won't sound too good. Alright, so that's just with the tone set to noon. Now this thing has an equalizer of sorts. Let's just mess around with it. So, in my experience, turning the tone down makes the tone relatively just unusable. I don't know if it was because this was meant to be also be able to be used with bass, but yeah. On guitar, it just kind of makes it sound muffled, I guess. I don't even know if it's even a usable tone for anything artistically, but let's try it. We're gonna turn it down to about the 9 o'clock position. So, in the room, it wasn't sounding that bad. I don't know how it's sounding in the recording. I tried my best to get this to sound as close as possible, to get the microphone to sound as close as possible to how it sounds in the room, but it's just, quite frankly, almost impossible for me, at least. Especially with trying to record this Boss Katana through a mic, it seems like it's just been very difficult, so... You know, it is what it is. So let's turn the tone all the way down and see what it sounds like. Alright, so, once again, in the room it didn't sound that bad, but things get very much more exaggerated, I think, when you were on the mic, because the mic is so much closer, maybe. There's a few different reasons, probably. But, yes. So, let's turn it back to noon, get a small palette cleanser, and then we'll turn the EQ upwards. Alright, so there's our palette cleanser. Let's turn it to... oh, what is that? 3 o'clock. interesting. So, you know, it's just, you get more of the high, probably the high octave than the low octave. So it gets a lot more twangier, so, you know, it's to be expected. Let's turn it all the way up and hopefully this doesn't get too ear-piercing. That is pretty much the complete tone of the Sitar Swami. Let's talk about this pedal for a second. It's an awesome pedal. I love the sound. I really wish I could get this in a more pedal board friendly enclosure and, you know, regularly, because I don't like to put anything that's out of production on my board. Otherwise, I would have some of the Digitech stuff on my board. I love those pedals, but I hear they're coming back as well, if they're not already back. But yeah, this thing is awesome. The style of it, the style, the sound. The only thing that isn't awesome is the style's good, but unfortunately it's kind of bulky and it's out of production. So I don't like that as much. And I don't know what the prices are now. I think they're still relatively reasonable in terms of like what could be considered a boutique pedal, because at this point it's not boutique, it's vintage. There's a difference, but you know what I mean. It's out there and it's not made. So I think they're still relatively well priced, unlike this, like the Psycho Flange, or I think the Psycho Flange is well priced as well still for now. But the Backtalk, I know people love the Backtalk, and they actually remade the Backtalk in a more pedal board friendly enclosure. Yeah, I wish they would bring more stuff like this back, and I wish they'd bring back the those plastic pedals. So would I recommend this pedal? Of course, I recommend the pedal. Of course, it depends on the price you get. If you can get it for a decent price, unfortunately, this would just have to be something that you would have to decide what is reasonable, because this is just something you can't get really anywhere else. As far as I know, you might be able to get this sound by combining different effects. Unfortunately, I don't have any good octaver effects or a flanger. I think I have a flanger somewhere, I think, but I can't try it. At some point, I would love to try and recreate this sound using different effects, but right now I just can't. So it's relatively well constructed. The button is plastic, I think, but it still feels pretty sturdy. And there's a really good design choice that there's a battery door on the back, so it's one of those pull tabs instead of like you have to unscrew something. I love this sound. I don't know how usable it would be, especially regularly. No one's going to use this regularly, and if they do, they're certainly making a new genre of music, aren't they? Or at least trying to emulate another genre of some sort. I don't know what sitar music would be called, unfortunately. Sorry if that's too general of a term and that's offensive to someone. There's not much more I can say. This pedal's really good. If you want it, I hope you can get it for a decent price, because I don't think there was too awful many of them made. But yes, I do recommend the pedal. If you enjoy this content, if you enjoy guitar gear content, I also do some drum stuff here and there. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you found this informative or enjoyable. I tried to keep this one a little shorter, but I may have dragged it out a little longer on accident on this end piece. But for now, I'm gonna say bye-bye.